Gun monkeys need to stop gaslighting themselves into believing that James Gunn has somehow always been great for DC, when his first project with them broke the record for the lowest grossing DC film ever. We've all seen the slop videos in our feed by people like Filmento and various other bot YouTubers claiming that Gun Squad movie succeeded where Ayers failed, based on snobby critics clicking more stars on a forum, despite the fact of the matter being that Gun Squad only made $168 million, while the first Squad movie made $747 million. 168 times 4 equals 672, which therefore means that Gun Squad movie didn't even make a quarter of the first one. Now, I'm not one to take financials as a be or end all overall, but breaking the record for the lowest grossing DC film and doing 78% worse than the first Squad movie is inexcusable, and definitely shouldn't justify another internet bandwagon where all the YouTubers put down the early successful DCEU movies in favor of what objectively made less money and had far less of a cultural impact. It made less money than The Croods 2, which released at the same time, which therefore means the certain type of virus existing at the same time of the film and releasing on streaming at the same time is not an excuse that justifies any of this. And before you goofballs go running to the comments with that excuse, Black Widow was released on an even more popular streaming service at the same time as the film release, and that film made $379.8 million, which is still more than double the box office of Gun Squad. Gun Squad film has nothing to say for itself except Rotten Tomato scores that are totally valuable. And if we want to keep it within WB, then both Godzilla x Kong and Dune released within the same time frame, also simultaneously on HBO Max, yet made hundreds of millions more in theaters. Any more copes? I mean, box office and worthless reviews aside, I'm willing to give some brief opinions of my own, such as Gun Squad movie just having the worst of the worst micro-brain jokes like Peacemaker talking about sucking severed male dongs on a beach, Harley saying the rain is like little angels splooching all over us, totally the stuff that normal, mature, working class adult would unironically find funny, right? It's just Reddit humor. And speaking of immature, Peacemaker is just a bootleg, immature, bisexual Punisher played by a shitpost actor who has less serious roles than The Rock, and has to narrate his motivations directly to the dumbass audience, where he says he kills for the sake of peace, which is honestly just a concept of any soldier. But he said it directly to the audience, so it's deep. He's the TikTok joke version of Punisher. Watch Punisher shows or movies instead, please. What's even funnier is that the show isn't even doing very well either, with neither season being able to cross 1 million views, especially in comparison to other streaming shows, like The Penguin, as you can see here, which did fantastically at the Emmys, including Christine Melody, who won the Best Lead Actress, unlike this joke, sellout orgy actor who disgraced himself by taking part in such a scene knowing that kids follow him, unlike another funny buff guy that actually has some self-respect. Speaking of those wins for The Penguin, the most chronically online executive who has the time to answer random useless questions and beef with random Snyder accounts with 8 followers on Twitter, who definitely aren't just his throwaways, was strangely silent on The Penguin, which is technically a part of DC Studios that he runs, which got me thinking, why not? The answer soon presented itself with the fact that the first season of Peacemaker released to 700,000 viewers and got 1 nomination in Best Stunt Coordination, which Gunn had little to do with other than just basic script instructions, and even that 1 nomination was lost. Meanwhile, The Penguin opened to 3 million viewers right off the bat, 24 nominations and 9 wins including the Best Actress. All the Rotten Tomatoes in the world can't change the fact that real people don't rate slop. All this proves is what most DC fans have been saying for years, and that is that DC only succeeds when it takes itself seriously, not by bringing MCU directors like Whedon or Gunn. Don't even get me started on the DCU debut, Creature Commandos, that had even less viewers than an ironic meme show like Velma. Anyway, then we get back to the first Squad movie, where it didn't just make more money in the box office, but its plot didn't have the brain rot gun jokes, and it also adapted Harley Quinn's mad love storyline in such a way that wasn't drastically different from her origin story in the animated series, unlike the MCU and James Gunn character 180s. Sure, Ayer's vision was messed with by studios, such as them taking away Joker's abuse that was supposed to be in the film, but even then, the nerfed version of Ayer Squad was still better and did better than Gun Squad or even Thunderbolts. It had far more cultural impact via dominating the Halloween costume sales at a point that still lingers till this day, with the Leto and Harley Quinn couple costumes, especially with Harley Quinn, as I swear, half or more of the time Harley gets cosplayed, it's a 2016 costume. Hence Ayer Squad movie winning the Academy Award for the best makeup and hairstyling. No matter how much Margot Robbie wants to bitch about and change her costume, that worked. Hashtag release the Ayer cut, baby! But anyway, with all of these facts out of the way, it's just so weird how the internet tries to warp reality by utilizing the chronically online to sell a narrative that does not represent the general public, as shown by the box office results. Like, I've seen these gun monkeys punch down on DCEU movies or other DC movies that didn't do super well, like Black Adam that got banned in China, or Joker 2, only for Gunn's bigger squad flop to get a slide as it also made less than Birds of Prey. The DCEU films only started to do worse than his Squad movie after he took over DC. I don't even want to get too far into Gunn's Superman that at least didn't bomb as heavily as the Squad movie but still lost to Man of Steel from 2013, even without inflation. It only did well domestically despite first world gun monkeys treating that as a win when the rest of the world didn't eat any of that BS up at all. It's sort of racist of them to not care about what the rest of the world thinks, hence a hilarious domestic man meme. I guess they're racist just like their cult leader James Gunn, who randomly sees his negative critics as Indians for some reason. But I'll talk about Gunn's artificial fake hype some more when the final box office numbers come in, but the point is that Gunn isn't welcome in DC when it comes to actual results for a deep company that had credible directors, the three of which being friends of each other, like Christopher Nolan, who brought Zack Snyder into DC in the first place and has complimented Snyder many times. Todd Phillips, who got compliments from Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino for his second movie, that may have bombed unfortunately, but still had actual artistic vision and deep themes, unlike Gunn, who has never received such compliments from a credible director. Gunn only succeeded when being carried by the Marvel brand, which is a brand that is mostly successful for being dumb popcorn flicks that most mature people don't think about shortly after leaving the theater, with maybe 3 or so exceptions that aren't Gunn. The second Gunn went to DC, all those microbrain jokes stopped working. DC may have never kept up with the MCU's highs despite still doing well, but the deeper films are destined to not be at the top of mass appeal, especially these days, but DC is supposed to be better than trend chasing with a PDF file director that doesn't make good movies for actual adults. But whatever. I'm glad he's at least losing now, no matter how much he himself, WB, or his drones lie about the financials. But anyway, subscribe and check out my other DC videos, my Twitter or my Discord server. Thanks for watching.